Both campaigns and their supporters have ramped up their spending on TV ads, spending $47 million just last week. President Obama's campaign was the single biggest spender, dishing out $16 million, although Romney's campaign and his backers in total outspent by $8 million. I'm joined now by Jonathan Collegio, Director of Communications for American Crossroads. Good to see you, Jonathan. Good morning.
Good morning.
That is a lot of money by any standards, but the Wall Street Journal kind of dissed groups like yours this morning, saying, and I'm quoting here, super PACs are looking less super. Signs are few that super PACs have had the major impact that both supporters and critics predicted. The flood of spending doesn't appear to have significantly influenced voter opinion in key states, in the presidential contest, or in top congressional races. So for all your hard work, all your fundraising, the Wall Street Journal is suggesting you might be irrelevant. Is that fair?
Well, what it did is, unfortunately, the Journal piece took what we did in isolation and didn't compare it against what Obama was doing at the same time. So go back to May, and in May, from May until August, President Obama and his campaign spent $173 million trying to define Mitt Romney as a vampire, as a corporate raider, and so on and so forth. And over that same period of time, from May until August, the Republican outside group spent about $144 million, so $30 million less. And what did you see over that same period of time, from April 29th until the end of August? The poll, the Gallup Daily Tracking Poll, essentially remained unchanged. So what you really had at the same time was Obama trying to overwhelm Romney with negative advertising, and the Republican outside groups were more or less kind of evening the game out a little bit. Both candidates got weakened, and the polls roughly stayed the same from May until August.
All right, so are they right?
Well, no, because I think that what the Journal analysis did is that it just kind of took what Republican super PACs are doing in isolation. It was like assuming that nothing else was going on. Oh, my gosh, you spent $144 million, but the numbers didn't move. Well, it ignored the fact that Obama spent $173 million in those same states over the same period of time. And what did you see? But the numbers stayed almost exactly the same over that period of time. It was like two sides just kind of fighting it out to a draw.
Well, Bill Clinton came to this conclusion. Here's what he had to say.
I think the president will win, but I think you can't know because of the enormous financial advantage that Citizens United gave to these Republican super PACs, and because of the work they have done and will do on Election Day to try to reduce the number of young people, first-generation immigrants, and minorities voting.
Is he right?
Well, I don't think you have to do anything to reduce the numbers of young people voting for President Obama, because most of them don't have jobs. I mean, the unemployment rate for young people is so much higher than it's ever been, and that has to do with Obama's policies. He promised a lot, but he hasn't delivered on the economy, and that's really been the message that American Crossroads has been bringing to the American people, as well as a lot of the Republican outside groups. So I don't think there's any kind of conspiracy going on. I think that a lot of people are looking at the president's record, they're looking at the promises that he made, they're seeing a disconnect between those two things, and they're looking elsewhere for their votes.
Well, let's talk about messaging, because another somewhat critical article in Politico talks about the lack of focus in messaging. Oftentimes, the message from Republican groups and the Romney campaigns is not consistent. I know, having gone to some of the battleground states, and you see all these different messages, and it can kind of make your head spin. They're on a lot of different topics. Could the super PACs actually be hurting the candidates? And I'm talking about on both sides, by muddling the campaign's message.
Well, one of the issues with the campaign finance laws is that outside groups like Crossroads or Priorities USA can't coordinate legally with the candidates or the party committees. So all the activity that we do, all the ads that we put on the air, have to be completely independent of what the campaign is doing. Now, I don't think that the message has been all that muddled. I mean, American Crossroads, look at all of our ads on our YouTube channel. They're about the economy, they're about jobs, they're about debt. They're mainly about the same types of issues that Mitt Romney is talking about. They might not be on the same week, but that's because we can't talk to them. We have to go out and do what we're going to say that we're going to do, and we think it's had a very, very big impact in holding the president accountable for what he said he was going to do in 2008 and what the results have been in 2012.
Let me finally ask you, because Democrats have been saying one of the things to watch for in this campaign is when groups like yours start putting more of their money into congressional races. It will be a sign that they've given up hope that Mitt Romney can now pull ahead in these battleground states where he's behind. Is that what would happen?
Well, we have the pedal on the metal on this presidential election. It is winnable. Mitt Romney is close in every single state that he needs to be. He may not be ahead, but these are within the margin of error. The debates are going to change a lot. This is a close election against an incumbent president that has a lot of personal appeal. So we think that this thing is absolutely winnable. You will see us spend some money on Senate and House races, but we announced that a long time ago. We announced back in July that we were going to spend maybe $70 million on Senate races, and we're going to spend a lot on House races as well. So I wouldn't draw too much attention to that, but we are definitely in it to win on this presidential race.
American Crossroads, Jonathan Collegio, good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
From Mega Money to social media, how